Hey everybody, I'm Tim, and today I'm anxious as hell, and I'm about to tell you why. You're watching Cigars Daily. Hey, get a whole lot more out of this video when you join the community on Cigars Daily Plus and when you watch this on Rumble. Now, I'll tell you, there's not a lot in doing cigars these days that makes me super duper nervous. I've been doing this for 10 years now. I've learned a lot about the industry, and it is a privilege and a treat to get to share so much of that with all of you. However, once in a while, I go in and do something that I've never done before, and here we are in the midst of that. Because right now, what is in my hand is the not created, unreleased, Dunbarton Cigars Daily Leche Burra. This cigar is one that I'm working on with Steve Saka this year, and the plans are that this is going to be sometime around November. This will be seen out there in the wild. All of this, just as I have gotten my series of collectible Dunbarton Challenge Coins. 4 different coins that represent some of the best of Dunbarton's catalog, each one with Steve Saka's signature written right on it. This is very cool because it is my opportunity to get to share with the cigar community a collectible set of coins that contributes to who we are as cigar lovers. This is great because I like collecting stuff, and these are a little piece of that. Now, as I start to think about those, I immediately think about, am I going to do one of these coins for Leche Burra? And you better believe that I am. Of course I would do that. I wouldn't miss the opportunity. But then what about the cigar itself? You know, if you guys follow the channel, I've done a lot of cigars over the last couple of years. I mean, hell, over the last 10 years, I've done a lot as I've worked with American Viking cigars, and we built that brand and did all of the blending for it. And now recently, in a lot of the daily edition projects, I have had the privilege of working with some of the best cigar makers out there. This one is like different somehow. It's special. Like working with Steve Saka, I think for a lot of guys who are aficionados, who are in the cigar space, who love the premium cigars, they say, if you could work with any one person to craft a blend, who would it be? A lot of people would say Steve Saka. And I think that the people who work in the industry, a lot of them would not say Steve Saka. They would not say Steve Saka for the same reason that the aficionados love him. And that's this. Steve Saka is decisively finicky about the blends. Because of it, Dunbarton's blends have gained traction faster than just about any other brand that I can think of in the cigar world. Steve Saka has cemented himself as a good cigar maker among the cigar world. Now, he's not new to the game, but he also knows exactly what he's looking for. And the frustrating part is when he's right. And he's usually right about stuff. He doesn't call things wrong, especially when it comes to the branding and the blending and the story of a cigar and all of that. And so as I work on this with Steve, I consider it a huge privilege. It's also come with its own unique challenges. And I thought I would share some of those with you because once again, that's what my channel is all about. You see, typically when I go to do a new cigar, I come up with the things, the name, the idea behind a cigar. It's going to be, if I was to create my own cigar, I would call it the Filthy Viking, and it would have, a Habano wrapper and Honduran binders and fillers, because I really like that, earthy, smooth creaminess that comes from Honduran leaf and so on and so forth. That's really how the Filthy Viking came to be. I had a clear vision of what I was looking for, and I went after it. When it comes to blending a cigar with Steve Saka, it's been a tremendously different thing. Steve knows more about blending. He's forgotten more about blending than I may ever know. And he still does an exquisitely good job at creating like a well-tailored blend, and he's very picky about how he does it. Now, recently, when I say recently, I mean last October, so 6 months ago, he came and did an episode of Cigars Daily Live where he said that often when he tries to make blends, he'll make like 1,000 samples of a blend just to see if it's what he wants. And then if he doesn't pick it, he moves on to another blend. But for some reason, when we talk about Leche Burra, I only got 2 cigars for sample. I got 2 of these things. And that is something that makes me incredibly nervous because this is going to be a huge project later this year. Now, Steve Saka may very well send me some more samples of this, but I've been sitting on these long enough that they've almost had time to age. No, indeed, 6 months is long enough that they've started to age. And so I wanted to light this thing up, but also take you guys inside my experience, because the story with Leche Burra is what I'm really invested in. How this cigar comes to be for me is about the experience of working with Steve, which is a privilege and a treat, something I wouldn't trade for anything. But at this point, where we're at is the blending. This is before we know anything about what the look and the feel of the box and the type font on the box and what kind of ribbons is it going to have and stickers and even the image. Is it going to be a donkey smoking a cigar? Leche Burra does mean donkey's milk, which sounds really weird, but it's actually the name of a Nicaraguan candy that's like this very caramel candy. And while this video is not a review of this cigar and its flavor, I can tell you it does have this incredibly robust sweetness to it. A very like milk chocolatey flavor, a little bit of leather in there, but caramel right across the palate. Now, obviously, when it comes to Leche Burra, the idea behind the name of a cigar like this is a good describer of the blend, of the flavor behind the cigar. Leche Burra is this sort of caramel flavor, and the cigar gives that off in a great way. But there's so much about the story behind every cigar that gives you details and insight into its creation. I think Steve Saka is profoundly good at this. And I have a cigar here on my desk that to me is perhaps one of the most apt names for a cigar that I've ever seen in my life. It was the first cigar Steve Saka ever put out when he released Dunbarton into the world. It's called Sobremesa. And the name literally means sobre, over, mesa, the table. The idea of over the table is this very Latin post-dinner conversation that can last for hours, where family and friends will sit around and talk about everything and anything and maybe nothing at all. They'll sit and drink rum and have a great time together, which to me is a perfect name for a cigar because it cuts directly to the core of exactly what the premium cigar world is all about, and that's community among people. The best cigars in the entire world, without a doubt, are the ones that are enjoyed during a great conversation. I've said this to a couple of people at least recently, and that's this. There are not many things in this world you can't just buy these days. But a good conversation is one of them. It requires the right people and the right mindset, the ability to agree to disagree, to spend time, which we all have so little of, to sit and share ideas over the table or over an incredible cigar. Now I'm sitting working on Leche Burra with Steve Saka, and this has been already a cool and anxiety-producing treat and privilege for me. But trying the cigar now, it gives me like a whole new picture on the canvas of what Leche Burra is going to be all about. This is the thing about a cigar like Leche Burra. Every cigar, whether it's Sobremesa or one of my American Viking blends or something like that, all of it adds to the grand story of premium cigars. I love looking up old cigars from like 100 years ago and where they came from and who the family was that made them and the ones that have stood the test of time, and learning about family history from families like Fuente and Padron and the Plasencias. And with Steve Saka and Dunbarton, this one again is special because Saka is sort of an anomaly in this industry. He's one of very few people who understands the blending side of cigars as well as he understands the business side of cigars. Like, he is kind of a savant for this stuff. And so it is a cool thing to work with him and get to do a project that, in my opinion, is going to add a tremendous amount to the greater story of cigars. I'm going to have a lot more to tell you guys about on this, but I just couldn't take this experience in without at least sharing some of it with you. The first question I had was, what is this going to be like at all? And the good news is that I've got something here I am exceedingly excited about and excited to share more of with all of you. There's a lot more to come on this, and I'm going to be talking with Steve very soon about this. In the meantime, I got my Dunbarton Challenge Coins, and I can't get I cannot wait to get working on the challenge coin for Leche Burra. That's going to be a project that's going to be right at the front burner for me as soon as it comes up. So thank you guys again for joining me here. A question for you though. If you're a fan of Dunbarton, which one is the most choice Dunbarton blend for a great experience? Maybe even something in the more full-bodied line. There's not a lot of Mexican San Andreas ones out there. The only other one I know of is Sin Compromiso. And so this will be another Mexican San Andreas cigar. All right, drop your questions down below. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Tim signing off for Cigars Daily, and I will see you in the comments.